Real quick before this video starts, I just want to say that I have lost the recording file for this, so I've had to download the stream and edit it like that. So I'm not really able to edit the different audio levels in the recording and stuff, so my mic might be a little quiet in points, I might be a little bit louder than the music at other points as well, so apologies for that. With that being said, enjoy the video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing The Queen is Dead by the Smiths today, out of the ever-shrinking list of classics that I have yet to get to. You know, the Floyds, the Beatles, the Talking Heads, shit like that. This is one of the albums that people have been asking me to listen to the most, and this is one of the albums I have held off on listening to for the longest. Why? I don't know. I have no fucking idea why, to be honest. Yeah, this is an absolutely classic album that everyone loves. I've enjoyed basically everything I've heard from the Smiths up to this point. I like 2 tracks off of this album, Cemetry Gates and Big Mouth Strikes Again. This is such an easy album for me to say that I'm probably going to enjoy, that I'm probably going to get a lot out of. It's the Smiths, you know. This is a band that everyone loves, even though people don't like Morrissey particularly. But yeah, I rarely see people who really dislike the Smiths. I feel like everyone at least has 1 or 2 Smiths tracks that they enjoy. So I'm going into this album with pretty high expectations, pretty high hopes. This came out in 1986, 10 tracks, 37 minutes, absolute classic, okay? Absolute classic. Everyone absolutely adores this shit. Let me get this up on Album of the Year real quick. Yeah, it's got an 87.5 user score on Album of the Year, which places it comfortably within almost the top 200 albums of all time on the site, which means this album is pretty highly glazed, is what that means. It means this album's pretty highly glazed. I don't know. I don't really have much else that I want to ramble about before going into this. I think the songs on this album where it goes, I was looking for a job and I found a job and heaven knows I'm miserable now. I think that's on this album. That I would say that's the most Human Reviews viewer core song ever. Like, it's the song that Human Reviews viewers can relate to the most. But the difference is they don't actually find jobs. No? What, is it not? That's not on this album? Unlucky. Never mind. My joke doesn't work now. Anyway, let's get into this shit. Track 1, title track, The Queen is Dead. Also, chat, I've got ice cream. Where was I when the Queen died? I think I was in school. I might be wrong.
I say, Charles, don't you ever crave to appear on the front of the Daily Mail? The rest of
Where was I when this album dropped? It came out 20 years before I was born, unfortunately, so I did not exist yet. Okay, so immediately there is just a beaten down weariness to this, you know. This feels like someone who is just absolutely sick and tired of the world, just sat there wallowing in a sea of pity right now. This guy is just absolutely done with everything. There is just such a misery behind this vocal performance that I think is making this aesthetic so far. Absolutely. This shit sounds fantastic. The production here is amazing. Very thick, chunky-ass bass. The drums have a lot of space in this mix. The drums, you get a lot of very heavy attack, but they're also very resonant too. The drums sound lovely. And of course the guitar parts, yeah, sound fucking incredible too. This is a pretty strong start. That's something Morrissey can express its misery, yeah. Oh shit, such a shame. Morrissey seems like such a good guy, I know. Okay. Pretty, absolutely fucking fantastic opener to this album, dude. Holy shit. Track is absolutely stunning. Seriously, I will agree, with the sentiment that I don't think Morrissey is necessarily the best singer. Like, that is something that, I see as a sentiment about, people who aren't crazy on the Smiths tend to not like Morrissey as a singer. And I do agree that he isn't a great singer, but his vocal style matches the sound of the Smiths perfectly. Like, do I think it's incredible, beautiful singing? No. I think it fits the dreary, miserable tone of the Smiths absolutely perfectly. Yeah, the instrumental here is just so massive and cascading. The bass, in particular, being as chunky and as aggressive in this mix as it is. The drums feeling like they're filling an entire fucking cavern with how much of a roomy sound you get out of them. The guitar bringing the jangly quality to this that adds all of the color and the life to this track. This is about as excellent of an opener as I could ask for. 6.5 minutes of the most driving forward rhythm possible on this track. 6.5 minutes of an absolutely stunning instrumental environment that doesn't let up for a single second. I would give this track a solid 9. Solid 9. Good shit. Frankly, Mr. Shankly up next.
Frankly, Mr. Shankly, this position I've held. But still I'd rather be famous than righteous or holy. Any day, any day, any day. Speak frankly, Mr. Shankly, oh, give us money.
Okay. Interesting that they follow up a 6.5 minute track with a barely 2-minute track. Yeah, also a massive mood change between the songs as well. I was a little torn on the super bouncy instrumental at the start of this track. I think I don't know, the way this track opens is just a little too in your face, especially, again, it's so bouncy, it's so colorful, it's such a massive departure from what the previous track was presenting in every single regard. But as the track progressed, I think it did kind of find its footing, and the song did become, by about a third of the way in, incredible. I think that this bouncy instrumental paves way for something that is able to be very subtly dark. I think that Morrissey's vocals here arguably fit even better than they did on the last track, and the writing is so instantaneously captivating throughout this song that it's kind of impossible for me not to get lost in the world that this track is building. Yeah, despite having a rough intro, I think that this song reaches heights that even go above the previous track at points for me. This one's a high 8. Good shit. Good shit. This song really found its footing and then became fucking incredible. Jazz being cropped out. Wait, is it? Oh, true. My bad. Whoops, I had the thing down a little bit too low. I know it's over.
Oh, mother, I can feel the soil falling over my head. I know it's over, still I cling. I don't know where else I can go. That veiled bride, please be happy. Handsome groom, give her room. Though she needs you more than she loves you.
Damn.
I know it's over, and it never really began. But in my heart,
I love this 6/8 time. It feels like he's like a nostalgic memory kind of seeping through all of this heartbreak.
it's so easy to laugh falling over my head.
Now this track is where it's at. Okay. Yeah, this song's an easy 10. Yeah, this is the strongest track so far, and it's like not even close. Oh my god. This track pulls together the emotion, all of this heartbreak, this deep-rooted sorrow, gives this like nostalgic, rose-tinted feeling with the instrumental, and through the repetition of this "mother, I can feel the soil falling over my head" idea throughout this track is able to actually immerse you into that just swamp of sadness, in that swamp of sorrow and regret and pain. This track is kind of everything I was expecting from this album, being done to absolute perfection. That was absolutely breathtaking. Like, from the first second to the final, I think that every single bit of minor instrumental progression, I think that every single line and the way Morrissey performs them just adds to this truly devastating atmosphere of this track, just adds to the brutal, nostalgic looking back and longing throughout this song. That was stunning. absolutely stunning. That's all I could really ask for from this album right there. That is the shit, as they would say. Never Had No One Ever up next.
When you walk without ease, had no one ever. I never had no one ever.
Yeah, that track did a great job at portraying a feeling of loneliness. The song's about never having anyone, you know, constantly being in a state of being alone, and the space in this track feels like he's singing in a big empty hall. Feels like it's being performed in just a massive empty room with just one guy singing to himself in a state of sorrow, man. The atmosphere of this album is pretty fucking unmatched. Like, I can't believe how immersive these tracks are. Like, how immersive they are. They seriously just paint a picture and they explore that picture in so much depth with these instrumentals. They flesh out the worlds that these tracks create in such detail. And it's absolutely fucking beautiful. I think that the fact that this song is half instrumental as well, and it's just this propulsive loop, like repeating again and again and again, beating this idea into your head with these minor little bits of progression with the bass, the beautiful little keys in there as well. Just a truly beautiful back half to this song to match the very dreary and dire first half. I'm feeling a high 9 on this one. Good shit. Cemetry Gates is one of the songs I've already heard.
So I'll meet you at the Cemetry Gates. Keats and Yates are on your side. Our wild is on mine. So we go inside, seems so unfair. I want to cry.
That line feels like the most accurate fucking descriptor for this whole album. Seems so unfair, I want to cry. That is just the mood of this entire fucking album packed into one single line there. It's just this guy whining about shit. And it's also the best shit ever. How the fuck did he say plagiarize? Plagiarize. I have never once heard anyone pronounce that word that way. Plagiarize. He says it wrong on purpose, I'm sure. It's another genius decision from Morrissey here.
A dreaded sunny day, so let's go where we're happy and then meet you at the Cemetry Gates.
Why is bro rapping? I'm gonna be honest, I have no fucking idea what this song is about. There was a little period throughout that track where I kind of got lost in the instrumental and stopped paying attention to the lyrics. So we're gonna get Genius up, and we're going to figure out what this song is about. Right after one of the bleakest songs in the Smiths' history, we get this jangly, upbeat contradiction of a song that takes a frolicking tone through the cemetery. This song recounts a few of Morrissey's memories of visiting the enormous Southern Cemetery in Manchester with one of his best friends, Linda Sterling. Morrissey stated in a video regarding his youth that these long walks provided the mental outlook he so desired to escape everything and find inspiration. Okay, so it's a very cheery, upbeat song about being surrounded by the dead. It's that's his, you know, safe place to go where, you know, he feels at peace, where he finds his ability to be creative and, I guess, find his inner artistic voice, which that's the most, like, Smiths thing ever, finding yourself in a fucking cemetery, you know? Yeah, that feels like almost parody. Like, that makes so much sense, you know? Cemeteries can be pretty relaxing. They can. Yeah, I don't know. This song's like a little more straightforward than the others. It's probably my least favorite of the bunch so far, but not by a large margin. It's still a solid 8 for me. I think this track is a nice way of adding a little bit more color, a little bit more vibrancy and saturation into the album, while still being able to have some of the darker lyricism mixed in there, and a great Morrissey vocal performance here with some of the most memorable melodic elements we've gotten on the album up to this point. Still, good shit. Least favorite of the bunch so far, but still, pretty great. Big Mouth Strikes Again, the other song I've already heard.
Sweetness, I was only joking when I said you should be bludgeoned in your bed.
Big Mouth, like the best show on Netflix? Exactly. Damn. Well, we have a new best song on the album. Holy shit, I forgot just how incredible that track was. Yeah, that's like one of the greatest choruses of the 80s, man. Being added onto a track that has a little bit more of like an anger beneath the writing here. It feels like we've gone beyond just sorrow and longing, and now we've gotten a hint of actual anger and resentment towards something here. Yeah, this track just feels like it's encapsulating all of that rage that comes with being in a like desperate and depressed time in your life. All of that feeling of a need to let out a feeling of resentment towards something and point your problems in a particular direction. This track captures that beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. And, of course, has one of the best choruses. Like I just said, one of the best choruses of the 80s. Absolutely. So instantaneously recognizable. And it just stands out on this album for being so strikingly beautiful while simultaneously being so uneasy and off-kilter and even eerie. With those strange, like, pitched up backing vocals. I absolutely adore this song. Like, I remember this track being incredible, but album context really makes this stand out as like the best so far pretty easily. That song's fucking incredible. The Boy with a Thorn in His Side. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do more Smiths in the future, absolutely. Yeah, this is one of the strongest written songs so far, in my opinion. Presenting this heartbreaking picture of someone who everyone views as having a thorn in his side, being miserable, but actually deep down just a longing to be loved and a feeling of being misunderstood. It's basically the Redditor anthem, like 20 years before Reddit was even invented. Boy with a Thorn in His Side, one of the better one of the better written songs here. Oh my god, dude. My ability to speak has just gone out the window. It's like 20 to 1 in the morning, so my brain is fried. One of the better written songs up to this point. I think that this track does a great job at, I don't know, presenting something as simple as just somebody being misunderstood and making it feel larger than life, making it feel like it's the most heartbreaking sequence of events possible. This track is able to bring a drama that doesn't quite reach melodrama territory. It gets close. It does feel like there are a couple of moments of very heightened emotion throughout this, but it's able to stay fairly grounded for the most part while still making this sequence of events, while making this perception of this character feel so devastating. Not my favorite instrumental so far. I feel like the instrumental does feel a little formulaic at this point. We've had so many great, spacious, and lush atmospheres being built by the album up to this point, and I feel like instrumentally this track does feel a little basic by comparison, but when the lyrics are as good as they are, and Morrissey is kicking as much ass as he is on this song, I can't complain too much. This one's like a high 8, just below a 9 for me. Vicar In a Tutu up next.
I was minding my business, lifting some red dogs of life, setting my
Getting a train beat song? Okay.
as Rose collects the money in the canister. Who comes sliding down the banister?
Use it to listen to while playing Stardew Valley? Exactly. Dinosaur Train RP? That's a hell of a pull, bro. Dinosaur Train. I used to watch that when I was younger. Yeah, this song has some of the most fun wordplay on the entire album. Like, there's multiple standout lines on this track. Even if I don't think the writing on the whole is quite as kinetic as it's been on other tracks, even if I don't think it's quite as engaging as other tracks, there are a handful of, like, real standout lines on this song that I thought were, honestly, pretty incredible. The fact that they've brought in, like, a country-influenced track here with a train beat and the acoustic guitars and shit like that is quite the switch in sounds. That was unexpected as hell. I did not think the album was going to take itself in this direction at all. Though it's a welcome change, honestly. A bit jarring at first, but once I got adjusted to it, I think that they do a good job of not making that feel gimmicky. They do a good job at making it feel like it actually fits tonally in line with the rest of the album. And musically speaking, flesh it out a lot more so that it doesn't just feel like the Smiths doing country. It feels like them adding a little bit of country influence into their very specific, into their very dark and moody sound palette. Yeah, I give that one a low to solid 8. Good shit, man. This album has not missed yet. This album has not missed yet. Let him live in his tutu. Exactly. There is a light that never goes out.
Take me out. I never want to go home because I haven't got one.
Is this the double-decker bus song? Oh, I can see the lyric down there. It is. This song is a classic. I've only ever heard the chorus from this though.
And if a double-decker bus crashes into us, kills the both of us, to die by your side tonight.
One of the most iconic songs ever, genuinely, yeah. Like, I've never heard this song in full in my life. I've never heard this track front to back, but I know that chorus like the back of my hand. It's so catchy. The lyrics are so striking. Like, thinking about it with a more like modern context, the lyrics could maybe be read as a bit corny, but thinking about it in context of when this came out and what it says in terms of the rest of the album, like, it's such like an irreplicable moment. Like, in terms of just, like, music of this style in general, like, it's absolutely iconic shit. Like, again, I've never heard this song in full in my life. I've only ever heard the chorus a handful of times. And I know it like the back of my hand because it's just that striking, you know? It's like a Cure song, but ironically twisted. Yeah, I could see the comparison to The Cure here, definitely. I feel like Robert Smith's writing is a little bit more mystical than this. But honestly, with the imagery, I can see the parallels between him and Morrissey. Yeah, I will say, I don't think this is like the greatest album of the 80s or anything like that so far. I'm loving this. I think this is an incredible experience, but I don't think it's quite like the greatest album of all time material. I just think it's a really solid listen. Yeah, I'm going to listen to more Smith stuff. We'll see how I feel about this compared to the rest of their discography, definitely. I can't really, despite some minor nitpicks I may have about the track feeling a little overdramatic at points, I'd still give this song a 10. Like, those minor nitpicks don't really matter to me when you have a track with such a standout, perfect chorus, contender for the best chorus of the 80s, and just such striking imagery, and one of the best vocal performances I've heard on any rock song in this style. I think that legitimately Morrissey provides one of the most iconic melodies, vocal inflections, and some of the most powerful lyrics you can get on any song here. I think that this is like probably not my favorite song on the album. I'd probably still give that to Big Mouth, but this track is like giving it a run for its money with how much it feels. That's a perfect way of describing it here. This song kind of defines the style. This feels like the most definitive version of this very depressing, moody, jangle pop sound. Now, to talk about what I was talking about a second ago, I overrated is a word I would use to describe this album, though I don't think it's overrated in the fact that it's not good. I just think it's overrated in the fact that it's incredible, but not one of like the best albums of all time, in my opinion. Like we were talking about The Cure a minute ago, I would take The Cure over this. I think that Robert Smith is a little bit more interesting of a writer in the way he is a little bit more like mystical in the way he describes things. I think that The Cure's sound palette is a little bit more varied, and also the production on the Cure albums that I've heard have just been fucking out of this world. But still, this album's incredible so far. This album is incredible so far. Album ain't over, Chief. Next song will change my opinion. Yeah? While you're listening to a racist? Listen, this reaction does not exist to defend Morrissey, okay? Morrissey is an asshat, okay? Morrissey, knobhead. We do not like Morrissey at all. But he knows how to write some good songs. You know? He knows how to write some good songs. Love Morrissey, hate his music. Yeah, bro's got the most backward opinion ever. All right. Anyway, final song, Some Goals Are Bigger Than Others. Hello?
From the ice age to the dull age, there is but one concern.
This album does unfortunately sound very lovely. Yeah, this shit is incredible.
Some girls are bigger than others. Some girls' mothers. Some girls are bigger than others. Some girls are bigger than others.
Listen, chat, there might not be anyone else that can hear this, and you guys might call me crazy. This track is Livin' La Vida Loca if it was made by someone who was depressed and on the verge of killing themselves. This entire time, all I've been able to think of is Livin' La Vida Loca. The entire time I've been listening to this dude. Interjection here to ask, what the fuck am I on about? Like, genuinely, I'm just saying shit at this point, man. Jesus Christ. This entire fucking song, it's all that's been in my head. Would love a full video comparing the two back to back. He's like, someone needs to make that. Yeah, this is a pretty lovely closer, I have to say. While I don't feel like it's the most definitive final statement, while I feel like the album maybe could have ended on a more conclusive note, I do have to say I would give this track like a low 9 and say it's one of the most beautiful instrumentals we've gotten on this entire project, easily. I think that these guitars just kind of like ring out, especially with that incredible riff, in a way that just gives this track such a sense of color, but with like such a massive bed of sorrow lying underneath it, man. That instrumental is just, it speaks with so much power, dude. Oh my god. I wish this track was a little longer. Honestly, I feel like another minute would have really done this song wonders to flesh it out and maybe make it feel a little more conclusive. Because it does feel like the track just sort of trails off at the end, and not just because of the fade out, but it feels like it just kind of trails off instead of coming to an actual definitive moment of conclusion. And while these are minor nitpicks, they are things to note of how I think this could have been an even stronger closer than it was. But still, when my only problems are that I wish there was more of the track and that maybe it could have sounded a little bit more definitively conclusive, you still have a pretty great closer on your hands. Yeah, low 9 for that track. Incredible shit. Undeniably fantastic way to close this album. Speaking of which, that is it for this album. This thing fucking slapped. This album was quite fantastic. Do I think it's like one of the best albums ever made or anything like that? No. I do have a couple of nitpicks with a handful of tracks. I don't think every single song on here is perfect, though there are multiple perfect songs on this, in my opinion. Yeah, this was still just a great experience, though. I still think that Morrissey and the entire band here were able to create something that just feels so truly full of despair, full of sorrow, full of anger and resentment, and it feels like a massive expelling of all of those emotions for what, 37 straight minutes. Every single track on here provides varying shades of misery, varying shades of anger, varying shades of regret and deep sorrow, and they really force you to sit in those emotions, soak them in, and they immerse you in the worlds that these tracks create. There is some beautiful musical storytelling on this. There's some incredible creating of mental images throughout this album as well, where whether it's Morrissey's incredible lyricism, whether it is the beautiful bass and guitar work throughout this album, or it's the amount of space that is present in these mixes that just feels like you are hearing someone performing like a big empty hall, just singing to himself while he's going through a depressive episode. This album never fails to have you fully locked in, never fails to have you fully immersed in every single thing it is saying, and I cannot commend it enough for that. I think that this thing is one of the most immersive experiences I've had with an album in a while, honestly. I really didn't have any big complaints about this at all. Maybe a handful of tracks where the sound gets a little bit repetitive, maybe a handful of instrumental moments that don't come together the best, maybe some lyrical passages that I wasn't head over heels for, but for the most part, this was a pretty flawless listen, and one that is definitely going to need repeat listens for me, where I dive even deeper into the lyrics, even immerse myself deeper into the production here, and I don't know, really try and get as much out of this album as possible, because I can guarantee there's shit I missed on this first listen and shit that I'm going to need to go back and get more out of on further experiences with this. But for now, I'm going to run the numbers and I will tell you what my overall score for this album is. That sounds about right. I am feeling a 9.3 out of 10 on this album. That's right, 9.3 out of 10. It's not a 10. It's not a perfect album by any means or anything like that. But it's incredible. Okay, it's an incredible listen. It's a low 9 for me. I think that this thing is just such an instantaneously immersive, mesmerizing album, and one that I know I'm going to get more out of on further listens. So yeah, good shit. Incredible shit. Fantastic album. Glad I finally got to this, and yeah, I look forward to diving further into the Smiths catalog as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of this album down below it, how it compares to other Smiths albums for you. Yeah, let me know if you'd like to see me cover the rest of their albums as well. Like and sub if you haven't. We are on our way to 5K. Links in the description to my Discord, my Album of the Year, my Twitter, my other channels, and my Instagram that I've started using again. Check those out if you haven't. And yeah, I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye-bye.